What comes next? Massive death. As I sit here and take in all of the news from every direction, all I see is deceivers, liars, corporate media, cover-ups, agenda, all pushing the same propaganda. It's time for a game changer, a visionary, an innovative person who changes the way that people think of the situation. It's time for Game Changer TV, telling it like it is. Get in the game. There is so much that I could be talking about. I could be talking about Trump's ballroom and the significance of 999 seats and the arch to Trump that he wants to build and the Epstein files and Marjorie Taylor Greene saying Trump is putting her life in danger and martial law and digital ID and the coming economic collapse, on and on and on and on and on. But I feel like the most important video I can make is this one. Next on the list of prophetic events is going to be persecution and massive death. Thanks for tuning in to Game Changer TV. I'm your host, Terry Lynn, and this is the channel where every day we're telling it like it is. Today is November 17th, 2025. And let's just jump into this. Jesus gave us a checklist in Matthew 24, and the book of Revelation shows us the things in order that are going to happen, the four horsemen and how they're riding. Next on the agenda is massive death. Let's jump into this.
We ain't going back to normal, and we ain't getting Epstein names. And no one is going to be held responsible for the bioengineered virus or the bioengineered fake vaccine and all the injuries and death that they have caused. There are no new jobs coming. We aren't taking America back. The Democrat Party is dying and the one-party system is taking over. And it's not the traditional Republican Party. It is the new Republican Party. It's very different than the old Republican Party. And it is morphing into the one world government with all the gates of hell at its disposal. Lots of luck to all of those world leaders who think they're going to compete with America. I'll tell you one thing, they're right about this. America is quickly becoming the empire of the world. Congratulations, Americans. America, who knew the one world government was going to be launched right here? See, the thing that people see, the part they see is that America is becoming the empire of the world. They see that part. But what they don't see is the next step is America becoming headquarters, ground zero of the new world order, of the one world government. It's taking shape right here at home. Now, some people who are very low info would tell you, that's awesome. I'm glad that it's happening here. Well, I guess you could stretch it. If that's your bar, if that's all you've got to cling to, then sure. Okay. I'm glad it's not here and I'm glad it's here and not in New Zealand. Although I could argue that the people here are going to get hit with it first. The closer it is to you, the closer you're going to be assimilated. Of course, if you don't resist. But see, most American citizens are not going to resist. I'm here to tell you, they're not going to resist. They are going to comply, as are the vast majority of the new Red Party supporters. They're going to comply. They're telling you that they're not going to comply, but they will, because if they don't comply, they will not be able to continue to work. They will not be able to continue to have small businesses. They will not be able to participate in the new one world economy government. And so, of course, they're going to comply. The first step is going to be everyone will be required to have a real ID card. That's coming right now, and it's coming at a very fast clip. Right now, you just need one to fly or get into a federal courthouse, but the next step is you're going to need one to work. And I'm going to say that's going to happen in the next year and a half. You will need a real ID to work. When the real ID begins to fail, and it will, then they will require some sort of biometric attachment also to work, to do anything, to get into the grocery store, to buy groceries, everything. This beast system gets harsher and harsher and harsher as they introduce more and more and more technologies. Someone asked yesterday, how long will it be before they implement the worst of it, where they're requiring biometric stuff? Well, my answer to that is as soon as they can get the AI infrastructure data centers built, or at least enough of them that will give them the power to process real-time biometric surveillance and scanning. They can't do it with today's infrastructure. They've been very clear about that. I've broadcasted many times the obstacles they have right now. In Larry Fink's latest address, he's BlackRock. If you're not familiar who he is, you might want to do a little research. Larry Fink admitted that they can't do the AI dominant beast system on the old telco infrastructure.
That was some good information, only he was behind about the old banking system and telco. Will ISO 222 replace the old telco system? Yes, the global migration to ISO 222 is replacing legacy financial messaging systems. Is our current banking system based on telco? That's what we got now. Convergence and partnerships. There is a strong global trend of convergence where banks and telcos are partnering to offer integrated services, especially mobile payments and mobile wallets. Could ISO 222 support implanted digital wallets? You know, think Mark of the Beast with your digital money implanted in your hand. Yes, the ISO 222 standard can support systems that interact with implanted digital wallets. As recent updates have specifically evolved the standard to recognize and integrate with digital tokens and blockchain wallet identifiers. And does the ISO 222 go global in about 5 days? Yes, it does. Yes, November 22, 2025 is the deadline for the global swift migration to ISO 222. So ISO 222 will be able to support implanted digital wallets that will hold your cryptocurrencies. JP Morgan said digital wallets directly address consumer security and push towards a true cashless society. And ISO 222 can facilitate an implantable wallet with your digital money, and it's going live globally in 5 days. Can ISO 222 move us towards a cashless order? ISO 222 is a significant step towards a more digitally oriented financial system, creating a foundation for enhanced electronic payment capabilities that can potentially facilitate a shift towards a cashless society. Here's how ISO 222 contributes to the development of a cashless society. Enhanced interoperability. By providing a common language and data format for financial messages, ISO 222 breaks down communication barriers between different payment systems and infrastructures, enabling smoother cross-border and domestic digital payments. This improved interoperability fosters a more interconnected and integrated financial ecosystem essential for a successful cashless system. And it goes globally live in 5 days. So we all pay attention that the last days is going to involve a cashless society in the mark of the beast. But I asked, will the end times be defined by massive death? In many religious eschatology traditions, particularly within Christianity, the end times are prophesied to be defined by massive death. And don't think we're about to be raptured out before we see it, because wait till you see the order that all this happens in, okay? Matthew 24, verse 3. And as Jesus sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Jesus said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, because we know deception is going to be everywhere. Deception from two ways. The Bible says that the devil, or the god of this world, has blinded the eyes of them that believe not. And the Bible says, because they love not the truth, that God will send to them a strong delusion. So deception is going to be everywhere. And Jesus said, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, the anointed one, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Now we're seeing nations against nations, kingdom against kingdoms. We're seeing famines and pestilences, diseases, and earthquakes in divers places. But these are only the beginning. And then, check. And then after that, they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Now, y'all, Matthew is giving us a glimpse of the four horsemen of the apocalypse: wars, famines, death, pestilences. Jesus was describing Revelation, the four horsemen. Are Matthew 24, is Matthew 24 horse the same as Revelation? Yes, many scholars believe the four horsemen of Revelation 6 correspond to the events that Jesus was describing in Matthew 24, but are presented from a different perspective. Matthew 24, the white horse, the red horse, the black horse, and the pale horse. The same as Revelation 6. Jesus warns of false Christs and false prophets deceiving people. The first seal in Revelation reveals a rider on a white horse carrying a bow, and who has the crown, the corona, who goes out conquering to conquer. The red horse, Jesus mentions wars and rumors of wars, nations against nation. The second seal in the book of Revelation brings a red horse, and its rider is given power to take peace from the earth and make men slay each other. Jesus referenced that in the last days there'd be famines and pestilences. The third seal, when it is open, features a black horse with a rider holding a pair of scales, symbolizing famine and scarcity where food is expensive. Jesus references pestilences and death. The fourth seal shows a pale horse whose rider is named Death, followed by Hades, and is given authority by the sword to kill people by the sword, by famine and pestilences. Similarities between Matthew 24 and Revelation 6 can be found in parallel passages like Matthew 24 and Revelation 6, which describes the birth pangs or the tribulation period, including the appearance of the Antichrist. First seal, wars; second seal, famines; and third seal. Both texts also mention astronomical phenomenon and upheavals in the heavens and on the earth, and the final verses of both passages describe the gathering of the elect in Christ's return. The four horsemen are typically presented in the order of going forth and conquering, conquest, He was given a bow and a corona to go over the world into conquest. The next horse is war, the next horse is famine, and the next horse is death. Though the first horseman is sometimes is identified as pestilence. This sequence represents a progression from conquest and conflict, leading to scarcity and ultimately death. Jesus warns against being deceived. He mentions you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, famines and earthquakes. He speaks of persecution against his followers and death. These signs are described as the beginning of sorrows or birth pains. We're just at the beginning. Let's see. The first seal, Revelation 6, shows the seals. The seals are part of the birth pains. The seals are the beginning of the birth pains. A rider on a white horse, so we know where we're at in the tribulation, the beginning of the birth pains. A rider on a white horse representing deception and conquest, the Antichrist. The second seal, a rider on a red horse symbolizing war and the taking of peace. The third seal, a rider on a black horse representing famine and economic hardship. Fourth seal, a rider on a pale horse bringing death and pestilences. Fifth seal, and then next, Jesus says wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, famines. Then next, you shall be handed over and shall be persecuted and put to death for my name's sake. The fifth seal, persecution of the martyrs. The 6 seals of Revelation are understood by many to correspond with the beginning of sorrows, a period increasing turmoil and suffering described by Jesus in the Gospels. This connection is made by comparing the events of the first 6 seals, such as war, famine, persecution, with the prophecies of Matthew 24, 4 through 14. These events are seen as the birth pangs that precede greater suffering. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are figures from the New Testament book of Revelation who represent conquest, war, famine, and death, appearing when the first 4 7 seals are broken. So we're at the seals being broken. The seals of wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, famines, all that has been opened. The next seal is going to be persecution and death.
They're us into famine because pandemic, famine, and they're trying to put us into famine because pandemic, famine, and war, they go together like the triangle of death.
What do you advise people do to get ready for it?
It's not going to be easy, and especially if you live in a major city. People go to cannibalism within 2 weeks. They're going to be coming into your house. When the crickets come out, it's time to do X.
Great advice just for everybody today. I want to dive into some of the stuff you've been talking about, a famine coming and setting the stage. So I know this goes back to your time in the Netherlands. How does that tie in?
Right, or actually, yeah, that's why I went to Netherlands. Now, in 2020, that was the first time I started warning about potential famine because I could see conditions were starting to be set for that, right? And it's all about conditions.
You noticed this in 2020?
Oh, yeah. I was publishing it like almost daily back then to get ready for it. Get ready for famine because it's clearly it's a long flash to bang. And so I've been studying it quite a lot. I read a couple dozen books on it now and on famine. I read more than 60 on pandemic, but I'd read about 40 before the pandemic because pandemic, famine, and war, they go together. They're a triangle. So you see patterns. And if you get a big war, you always get famine and you always get pandemic. If you get a big one. If you get a big pandemic, a very serious one, you'll always get famine and war, right? They just go together like the triangle of death.
So famine and war and pestilences all bring death. Conquest, war, and famine, then death. So according to the book of Revelation, the next thing that we are about to see is a massive kill-off of human beings. In the book of Revelation, 1/3 of mankind dies. Okay, so According to the book of Revelation, the death of 1/4 of the world population, we've got 88 billion people on the planet now. According to the book of Revelation, the death of 1/4 and then 1/3 of the human population happens before the mark of the beast is widely enforced. So before the Antichrist causes all, both rich and poor, small and great, free and bond, to receive his mark, 1/4 of the population is going to die and 1/3 of the population is going to die. So let's look at the seals. The 4th seal, Revelation 6:7-8. Power is given to the 4th horseman to kill 1/4 of the earth's population through war, famine, and pestilence, and wild animals. So if we've got 8 billion people and he kills 1/4, that's 2 billion people killed. That leaves 6 billion people. The 6th trumpet, a horde of 2 million horsemen is released and kills 1/3 of the remaining human population. So that's 1/3 of 6 billion would be 2 billion more. So that leaves 4 billion people on the planet at that point. Okay? Before the mark of the beast even comes. And then when the mark of the beast comes, he's going to order people to be beheaded, to be killed. The die-offs are part of the seal and the trumpet judgments in Revelation, which precedes the bowls. The deaths are described in the 4th seal judgment, 1/4 of mankind, and the 6th trumpet judgment, 1/3 of mankind, with the bowls of wrath coming later and representing the final, most severe judgments. Revelation 7:1-3, 144,000 of Israel sealed. After this, I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth, that no wind might blow on the earth or sea or against any tree. Then I saw another angel ascending from the rising of the sun, and with the seal of the living God, he called with a loud voice to the 4 angels who had been given power to harm the earth and sea, saying, do not harm the earth or sea or trees until we have sealed the servants of our God on their foreheads. Revelation 8:6-12 says, now the 7 angels who had 7 trumpets prepared to blow them. Okay. And this is when people are going to die. Okay. It says, and we don't get an exact number on this. The 3rd angel blew his trumpet, and a star fell from heaven, blazing like a torch, and it fell on 1/3 of the rivers and on the springs of the water. The name of the star was Wormwood. 1/3 of the waters became wormwood, and many people died from the water. Revelation 9:15 describes the release of 4 angels who are prepared to kill 1/3 of mankind. And then in Revelation 20, we see more people dying, people that refuse to take the mark, okay? And I saw thrones, and they that sat on them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them who were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark on their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. Massive death is next.
Here's a positive thing about the end times. In the end, it's going to be impossible to be lukewarm. You have to pick a side. You have to pick a side. And there's going to be so much pressure on mankind that people are going to reveal who they truly are. And the good thing about that is, if you're sick of mamby-pamby Christians, and people just go to church and sing kumbaya, but they actually don't follow God, great. They're going to become obsolete, I think. Real devout Christians who obey in spirit and truth will start revealing themselves more and more just because of the contrast in the world. So Be on the lookout. We're being revealed every day. We have a community. It's a fellowship.
This is ChatGPT's response on the rapture.
The rapture teaching as sold in modern pulpits serves more as control than truth. It promises escape while the Bible promises endurance.
Scripture shows trial, not to be taken out of the earth.
Israel was brought through Egypt's plagues, not airlifted out before. Noah went through the flood waters, not removed from the earth. Daniel went into the lion's den, not raptured away. The 3 Hebrews stood in the fire, not evacuated from Babylon. Every pattern says God delivers in the trial, not by avoiding it.
The rapture is a 19th century doctrine.
The pre-trib rapture never existed in the apostles' writings or early church creeds. It appeared with John Nelson Darby and spread through the Schofield Bible. This was a Western invention that distracted believers from readiness, obedience, and endurance.
Why it matters?
If people expect to be secretly taken away, they won't prepare to stand in tribulation. They won't endure to the end, though Christ said, "He that endureth to the end shall be saved." The lie breeds passivity, waiting for an escape hatch instead of standing as witnesses.
The Babylonian hook.
A system of comfort and compromise tells believers, don't worry, you won't face persecution, you'll be gone before judgment. That is not the voice of the prophets, nor of Christ, nor of Revelation's letters to the 7 churches. That is Babylon's lullaby, a sleep song to disarm the saints.
The rapture doctrine is a lie. Show me one place in the Bible where Jesus descended, people were called up to meet him, he ascended back to heaven with the people, then he descended again to end the great tribulation. In John 17:15, Jesus says, "I pray not that you take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the evil in it." Mankind isn't going anywhere.
He who endures to the end shall be saved.
The Antichrist will soon be revealed. In Christian eschatology, the Antichrist is widely interpreted as initially appearing as charismatic, peaceful, and benevolent leader before revealing his tyrannical and vicious nature. He gains power through deception and flattery rather than overt force from the start. Now, I'm putting that out there because we're talking about massive death that's coming, but we need to know the order that it's about to happen. Do some people believe that the Antichrist will be homosexual because of Daniel 11:37? Yes, some people and certain evangelical Christian commentators believe that the Antichrist will be homosexual, as interpretation primarily stemming from literal reading of the phrase nor regard the desire of women.
Donald Trump wasn't worried about the Epstein files coming out because people are going to think he touched little kids. No, we know that already. What he was more concerned about and more embarrassed about was that he likes men.
Then I walk in like this, and did you notice? I was bending over like this. Hello. I mean, I'm a human being, right? But when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, "Oh my God, that's unbelievable." I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here. Then I walk in like this.
Wasn't worried about the Epstein files coming out because people are going to think he touched little kids. No, we know that already. What he was more concerned about and more embarrassed about was that he likes men. It's the typical DL syndrome, bro. Like, it's the tale as old as time. Let me rephrase that. Certain men, would rather be called everything and anything under the sun instead of gay because of homophobia. That's how much homophobia has a hold on society, especially amongst men, cis men. This man knows everybody calling him a PDF file.
But he starts crashing out more once people start calling him gay. And you notice once the Epstein files, the thing blew up more and more and more, he started to realize, wait a minute, what about that one time I blew the former president? And then now you're seeing him crash out. It's the typical DL syndrome. It's when a man finds out that, it's when everybody finds out the man is gay and he was on the low, you see the way he reacts. Either he unalives a woman, he does this. You could just see the reaction. You guys know what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, but what? Ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba? I'm sorry, but what?
Did Donald Trump smoke Bill Clinton's poll like it was a skin cigar? Ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. One of Bill Clinton's nicknames was Bubba. One of Bill Clinton's other nicknames is Slick Willie, which comes from a description of his penis after he leaves a room with Donald. In Russia has a picture of one of our presidents giving another one of our presidents that Nancy Reagan. But my God, that is the funniest possible.
You sit down, shut the door. This is absolutely insane. So now in a new leaked email, Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, allegedly in this email suggests that he asked Steve Bannon, Jeffrey Epstein asked Steve Bannon, if Putin has a photo of Trump doing the sloppy on Bubba. Now, here's the thing. First off, this is all coming from the newly released emails from the House Oversight Committee, okay, just so you know. Obviously, there's been a lot of mind-blowing information that has come out through these emails from Jeffrey Epstein calling Trump insane, calling him dirty, and all this stuff. But now we're hearing that there may have been an intimate moment with Trump with a person named Bubba. Now, everybody wants to know, who Bubba? Who be Bubba, though? Well, here's the thing. Bubba is the nickname for, drum roll please, Bill Clinton. Yeah, so Trump was really all up on, allegedly, really all up on that big, beautiful Bill. Yeah, Slick Willie, that was another nickname for Bill Clinton. Slick Willie was all up in them throats. Okay, anyway, here's the thing. Is this for real? Like, this is absolutely insane. If this information is real, this is absolutely insane, all right? Does he spit or swallow?
So we all know that Chelsea Clinton and Ivanka Trump are very good friends. Bill Clinton and Trump were good friends. They were all friends with each other. Bill and Hillary went to Trump's wedding. This was from 2008, Trump talking about how great the Clintons were.
I think her history is far from being over. I'd like to answer that question in another 15 years from now. I think she's going to go down at a minimum as a great senator. I think she is a great wife to a president. And I think Bill Clinton was a great president. You know, you look at the country then. The economy was doing great. Look at what happened during the Clinton years. I mean, we had no war. The economy was doing great. Everybody was happy. A lot of people hated him because they were jealous as hell. You know, people get jealous and they hate you. People don't like him because they're jealous of him. But Bill Clinton was a great president. I mean, I hope we can be so lucky in terms of the economy and in terms of other aspects. I mean, we weren't in wars with two nations. I'm not blaming Afghanistan, by the way, is probably a place that we should be. Iraq, we shouldn't be. Bill Clinton was a great president. Hillary Clinton is a great woman and a good woman.
You said of Hillary Clinton that she was, quote, pretty badly abused during her presidential campaign. Why do you say that?
I thought that they roughed her up pretty good. I think she's a wonderful woman. I think that she's a little bit misunderstood. You know, Hillary's a very smart woman, very tough woman. That's fine. But she's also a very nice person. And I know Hillary, and I know her husband very well. They're fine people. I thought, and, you know, part of that is a rough political battle. I thought she was roughed up. I thought she, and I'm not knocking the other side. You know, you want to win a battle, so if it gets a little bit nasty, it is politics, and politics is a tough game. But I thought she was perhaps unnecessarily roughed up. She took some pretty hard hits.
Now he's gay. You clowns are unreal. You don't believe Trump is gay? Let me introduce you to the first gay president of the United States of America. Deep Throat Donnie.
Look at the muscles of this guy. Excuse me. Could you stand up? Black men. I love black men. I love them. I love them. I'll kiss every guy, man and woman. Man and woman. Look at that guy, how handsome he is. I'll kiss him. I'm blowing out my left arm. Now I'm going to blow out my right arm, and I'm blowing out my damn throat, too. But Arnold Palmer was all man, and I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this guy, this is a guy that was all man. But when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh, my God. That's unbelievable. Big, strong, powerful guys. Big, strong, beautiful guys. Beautiful guys. These the West Virginia, big, strong guys. I walk in like this, and I was bending over like this. I don't kiss men, but I kissed him.
So with all this stuff going on, I really do think that Donald Trump might actually be the Antichrist, because the one thing, listen, everything fits him as far as the description of the Antichrist, but the desire, but him not desiring women. And I just couldn't understand it. But then with the emails that came out today and with Mr. Bubba, now it seems like he fits all of the categories of the Antichrist. The Antichrist will not desire women, and it seems like Donald Trump desired Bubba. And Bubba is not a woman. And so it's looking like all of the signs point to Mr. Trump being the Antichrist. Now, whether that is true or not, and I mean, the emails seem to be true considering they got it from his estate, allegedly, that they did not have access to until now, right? So assuming that all of this is real, then everything now at this point lines up, right? You know, this is, but I didn't take him as a, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it. Y'all, this is insane. Is Donald Trump actually the Antichrist at this point? And then remember back in October, he said something along the lines of it wouldn't be far-fetched for him to have somebody win presidency and he be their vice president and then have them step down so he can be president. TikTok, this is all for entertainment purposes only. Please do not come at me. There's 1,000,001 people making videos about this, okay? Y'all, this is bombshell news.
So I put yes or no. Could a dictator use a fake assassination? Yes, a dictator could use a fake assassination attempt as a form of political theater or a false flag operation. Will the Antichrist be a dictator? While it is true that his fourth beast, the little horn, the Antichrist, is to be a world dictator, and as such shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High for a time and times and dividing of time. According to the common interpretation of the Bible and Christian theology, the Antichrist is widely expected to be a dictator. And a dictator can use fake assassination attempts. Do dictators crash their own economy? Dictators do not intentionally crash their own economy, but their policies and governing style often lead to economic instability. So right now, Donald Trump feels like he's under personal attack, and he's attacking Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's going after people. So I'll put, does the psychology of a dictator or the Antichrist make them go to war if they feel personally threatened? Yes, a dictator psychology, often characterized by paranoia, narcissism, and a need for absolute control. Donald Trump's losing control of the narrative right now, makes them more likely to initiate conflict or go to war if they feel personally threatened or pushed into a corner. Initially, the Antichrist will come in as a charismatic, peaceful, benevolent leader before revealing his tyrannical and vicious nature. He gains power through deception and flattery rather than overt force from the start. Charismatic, intelligent, but he's a deceiver. And look, turning point. The turning point. Have we been hearing about the turning point? The turning point, his true nature is revealed halfway through his reign, often interpreted as a 7-year period of tribulation, when he breaks his covenant, sets himself up in the temple, and declares himself to be God. At this point, the deception gives way to force, and he becomes a brutal dictator who persecutes those who refuse to worship him. In essence, the Antichrist's initial appeal is a calculated deception that allows him to gain global trust and authority before enforcing a brutal, lawless order. Mass deaths are coming. A ruthless, brutal order. Could or would a dictator declare martial law? Yes, a dictator can declare martial law, as their power is not limited by the rule of law. And Trump learned from Zelensky that they didn't have an election because of wartime. And listen to Trump.
So you say during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake. You like this idea? No. So you say
you heard Zelensky say in the background, you like this idea?
I wonder what the fake. You like this idea? No.
And we've done quite a few videos on the fourth and final kingdom of the earth, being Daniel's vision that he saw, fourth kingdom of iron and clay. And we've talked about clay is man and iron is machine, computers. Transhumanism. Is transhumanism the mixing of iron and clay?
I just need to say it. We told you so. We told you so. We told you so. We told you so. Just about everything. I just need to say it. We told you so. We told you so. We told you so. We told you so.
New study supports RFK Jr.'s Wi-Fi blood-brain barrier concerns. What do y'all think is about to happen, man and machine?
We are at EPFL News. This is titled Wireless in the Blood. This was posted in 2023. It says biological computing machines such as micro and nano implants that can collect important information inside the human body are transforming medicine. Yet, networking them for communication has proven challenging. Now, a global team, including EPFL researchers, has developed a protocol that enables a molecular network with multiple transmitters. First, there was the Internet of Things, the IoT, and now at the interface of computer science and biology, the Internet of Bio-Nano-Things, the IOBNT, promises to revolutionize medicine and healthcare. The IOBNT refers to biosensors that collect and process data, nanoscale labs on a chip that run medical tests inside the body, the use of bacteria to design biological nanomachines that can detect pathogens, and nanorobots that swim through the bloodstream to perform targeted drug delivery and treatment. Overall, this is a very exciting research field, explained Assistant Professor This Guy, head of the Laboratory of Sensing and Networking Systems in EPFL's School of Computer and Communication Sciences, IC. With advances in biology and nanotechnology, the idea is that nanobiosensors will revolutionize medicine because they can reach places and do things that current devices or larger implants can't, he continued. Yet, no matter how exciting this cutting-edge research field is, there remains a huge fundamental challenge. When you have a nano robot in someone's body, how will you communicate with it? Traditional techniques like wireless radios work well for large implants such as pacemakers or defibrillators, but can't be scaled to micro and nano dimensions, and wireless signals don't penetrate through body fluids. Enter what's being called biomolecular communication, inspired by the body itself. It doesn't utilize electromagnetic waves, but biological molecules, both as carriers and as information, mimicking the existing communication mechanisms in biology. In its simplest form, it encodes 1 and 0 bits by releasing or not releasing molecular particles into the bloodstream, similar to on-off keying in wireless networks. Biomolecular communication has emerged as the most suitable paradigm for networking nano implants. It's an incredible idea that we can send data by encoding it into molecules, which then go through the bloodstream, and we can communicate with them, guiding them on where to go and when to release their treatments, just like hormones, this guy said. Recently, this guy and his team, in collaboration with researchers in the United States, presented their paper towards practical and scalable molecular networks at AMC SIGCOMM 2023, a flagship annual conference on data communication in which they outlined their MoMA, or the MOMA, Molecular Multiple Access Protocol that enables a molecular network with multiple transmitters. Okay, then you should just be able to go right here and go a whole paper on it. Most existing research is very theoretical and doesn't work because the theories haven't considered biology, explained this dude. For example, every time the heart pumps, there's a jitter and the body changes its internal communication channel. Most existing theory assumes that the channel that you send the molecules over is very stable and doesn't change, but it actually changes very fast. In MoMA, the team introduced packet detection, channel estimation, and encoding-decoding schemes that leverage the unique properties of molecular networks to address existing challenges. They evaluated the protocol on a synthetic experimental testbed, emulated blood vessels with tubes and pumps, demonstrating that it can scale up to 4 transmitters while significantly outperforming state-of-the-art technology. And you see the little setup here, right here. The researchers acknowledged that their current synthetic testbed may not capture all the challenges associated with designing protocols for molecular networks, and that in vivo testing of microimplants and microfluids in wet labs is needed to achieve practical and deployable molecular networks. However, they believe they have taken the first steps towards this vision and that their insights for designing molecular networks will hold, as the underlying diffusion and fluid dynamic models in their testbeds are fundamental to molecular communication. I am very excited about this area because it's a new form of communication. We are a systems group. We like building things and getting them working. It's taken time to develop the expertise we have in biomolecular communication, but now we are at the stage where we are finding collaborators and can get things moving. People think this is science fiction, but is fast moving to science fact, that dude said or concluded. So I'll leave the link to this and look out for my next videos because I'll go over this and similar documents.
Yeah, we already have the medical body area network. And the Internet of Nano Things brings now connectivity at the molecular, at the cellular level. That is their vision. Yeah, the telecommunication industry has already deployed this system, Internet of Nano Things in humans. Please take a look at the PDF that Ayush Bhatnagar shared on LinkedIn. Yeah? Let me just briefly go over it again. I'm going to clip this particular video later on so you can listen to it again. So here is the PDF. Invisible intelligence already deployed. in the population worldwide. Connect the unseen molecule cells and smart matter. In this box it says nano machine, nano router, nano cluster head. Ubiquitous connectivity, including the inside of the human body. And then later on it goes into the healthcare side of things, enabling networks inside the body. IOBNT connects nanoscale devices directly with biological systems. These nanobiosensors and actuators can monitor, diagnose, and even treat conditions from inside the body in real time. By integrating biological data with AI-powered networks, IOBNT enables personalized, responsive healthcare at an unprecedented scale. 6G will power in-body networks that monitor health and deliver treatments connecting humans at the molecular scale. Yeah, and this is what it looks like. And the doctors have a really difficult time to, be honest about the system that has already been deployed, including the bio-cyber interfaces. This is our current medical body area network system, telemetry, wireless telemetry system. Cloud-linked medical access, real-time data sharing with healthcare professionals via secure bio-cyber interfaces.
So does this explain Revelation 9:6? That in the last days, the scripture says that men shall seek death and not find it. How nanobots could achieve immortality. Nanobots inside the human body would act in an internal maintenance system, patrolling the body to repair cells, fix damaged organs, and correct issues as they arise. Aging reversal, disease prevention, organ replacement. So you'll have self-repair, self-replicating smart technology inside the human body that is repairing the human body in real time. And is that why the Bible says that men in those days shall seek death and not find it? This verse describes a future time of intense suffering where people will desire death to escape their torment, but will be prevented from dying. It is part of the fifth trumpet judgment during a period of tribulation. So if you have this network inside your body, will it work with an RFID chip? Yes or no? Could the Internet of Bodies inside your body utilize an implanted RFID chip in a person? Yes. An implanted RFID chip in the right hand or in the forehead is a form of embedded technology that can be used in the Internet of Bodies. Will the mark of the beast be a new form of payment form? The biblical text of Revelation states that the mark of the beast will be necessary to buy or sell, which has led to a common interpretation among many Christians that it may be associated with a new form of payment or a global economic system. So that first guy was talking about the telco system. Says, will ISO 222 replace the old banking telco systems? Yes, ISO 222 is actively replacing older proprietary banking messaging formats such as SWIFT series and the Federal Reserve's FAIM format. Could ISO 222 support implanted digital wallets? Yes. ISO 222 standard can support systems that interact with implanted digital wallets, as recent updates have specifically evolved the standard to recognize and integrate with digital tokens and blockchain wallet identifiers. Implantable chips are coming. And ISO 222 goes global November 22nd, 2025, like in 5 days, the old payment systems are going away, and here comes the new. And Trump passed the Genius Act that Marjorie Taylor Greene says it's the mark of the beast.
Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. The Genius Act provides banks, businesses, and financial institutions a framework for issuing crypto assets backed one-for-one with real U.S. dollars, treasury bills, and other cash equivalents. It's really strengthening the dollar. You know, you have this little group called BRICS. It's fading out fast. But BRICS is, they wanted to try and take over the dollar, the dominance of the dollar. I said, anybody that's in the BRICS consortium of nations, we're going to tariff you 10%. And they had a meeting the following day, and almost nobody showed up. They said, leave me alone.
Marjorie Taylor Greene links Trump's crypto bill to the biblical end of time as she quotes Book of Revelation. The Georgia lawmaker equates a lacking provision in the bill to apocalyptic warning given in the Bible.
Here, Congress is secretly pushing for a cashless society, citing the mark of the beast.
The groundwork is being laid, currency that can be controlled by the federal government. I've read the Bible, and I believe what Revelations 13, 16 through 17 says, and I just cannot vote for a future system that will do that.
The Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. The Genius Act provides banks, businesses, and financial institutions a framework for issuing crypto assets backed one-for-one.
Is the Genius Act foundational to a digital economy that Marjorie Taylor Greene said she couldn't vote for? Yes, the Genius Act is considered foundational to a digital economy, specifically in the United States. November 22nd, 2025, when ISO 222 goes live globally, it will mark the beginning of a new era. And digital IDs are foundational to a digital economy. And I put, could banks issue digital IDs? So you go in there, everything's now going to be digital money. You can go into your bank and get your digital ID instead of going to a DMV. Yes, banks can and already do issue digital ID, as they are well positioned to be trusted issuers due to their experience in regulated environments and existing customer relationships.
Trump was put in by the bankers to get the control grid. The other team in the Uniparty wasn't moving fast enough. They couldn't get the control grid.
I knew it.
I sent you a link. We just did a new collection of all the things Trump is doing to move the control grid. He is moving very, very fast. When it comes to building, first he's getting the Real ID implemented very aggressively. Real ID. To do a control grid, you need a very high quality precision national ID that's interoperable with all the other IDs around the world. And he's got Kristi Noem out there pushing the Real ID like there's no tomorrow. So they're working, and it's done through the states, but the feds are pushing it. So the first thing you need is a digital ID. The second thing you need is an all digital financial system. So you got to kill cash, and you got to make everybody interact digitally. And if you look at what he's doing with taxes and Social Security, he's trying to make everybody He's canceled pennies, but he's also canceled now. Normally I pay my taxes with paper, and now he's saying, no, you got to do everything digital. It's not this year, but next year.
Really?
So he's trying to, if you go through that list, I've got 50 different items of what he's doing. And if you look at what they're doing with the Genius Act and stablecoin, he said no CBDCs, but stablecoin. So I don't know if you've read the Genius Act, which is the new plan for stablecoins. Okay. A CBDC would be issued by the Federal Reserve. So presumably the New York Fed and the Fed member banks. Okay. Now, they are owned by their members. So Citibank, JP Morgan Chase, they own, as members, they own the New York Fed and, basically govern it. Okay. And the New York Fed is the depository for the Treasury, and the different banks work as agent to do those transactions. Okay. So now under the Genius Act, what they're saying is the guys who own the New York Fed are all going to create subsidiaries and issue stablecoin, which will be interoperable and can work with a social credit system. Now, here's the beauty of it. The New York Fed, under the law, has direct obligations to Congress, and Congress has jurisdiction over them. If you do it through the owners of the Fed, through their private subsidiaries, you're going to have some degree of freedom. So it gives you more freedom.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So if you think this is improvement, you have another thing coming.
And this is what I'm talking about. Massive death is coming, because I asked in the book of Revelation, does the population of 1/3 of the earth, of population of the humans die, and 1/4 of the human population die? Yes, according to the book of Revelation, the death of 1/4 and then 1/3 of the population happens before the mark of the beast is widely enforced. So we can see how close we are to the rollout of the mark of the beast. But can we see that about half or more of the world's population is about to be eliminated from the face of the earth? Like I said, the current population of the world is 8 billion people. And in Revelation 6, it says that the power was given to one of the 4 horsemen to kill 1/4 of the earth's population through war, famine, and pestilence, and wild animals. So 1/4 of 8 billion would be 2 billion. That brings us down to 6 billion. And then in Revelation 9, 3 chapters behind there, a horde of 200 million horsemen is released and kills 1/3 of the remaining human population. So 1/3 of 6 billion people becomes 2 billion more eliminated. So that's 4 billion that's going to be left on the earth. And then the Antichrist is going to kill the part of the population that will not worship him. Massive death is coming. People can so clearly see us racing towards the mark of the beast and digital payments, but they're not paying attention that massive people on this planet are about to die.
Put us into famine, because pandemic, famine, and war, they go together like the triangle of death. What?
Massive death is coming, and many are going to be shocked. And the Bible says that the hearts of men will fail them for the things they see coming upon the earth. People are not ready for what we are about to see. During Revelation, will the world be divided into 10 regions? Yes, according to interpretations of biblical books of Daniel and Revelation, it is prophesied that in the end times, the world, specifically a revived Roman Empire, will be configured into a confederation of 10 regions or kingdoms. In the 1970s, the Club of Rome had a map of the 10 kingdoms. In the 1970s, the Club of Rome, a global think tank known for its influential report, The Limits to Growth, proposed a striking geopolitical concept, the division of the world into 10 kingdoms or regional blocks. Okay? And this is what they proposed. clubofrome.org. Reshaping the International Order. Published in 1976, Reshaping the International Order, or New World Order, was formulated by the group, the Club of Rome, of about 20 experts from low and high income countries, including one from Romania. Unlike the two earlier reports to the Club of Rome, this one emphasized development, distribution, and improved welfare that will require a good deal of economic growth. Now, this is all going to seem loosely tied, but we're going to connect it all back together. According to the book of Revelation, will famine and plagues kill half the world's population? The book of Revelation indicates that at least half of the world's population will die from a series of judgments that will include famine and plagues. The specific percentages mentioned are additive across different judgments. When calculated sequentially, the 1/4 of the population dies first. Then 1/3 of the remaining 3/4 dies, which equates an additional 1/4 of the original population. Combining these two events results in half of the world's population perishing from these specific judgments. So we saw that from 8 billion people, then you take 1/4 off, that's 2 billion, and it became 6 billion people. Then 1/3 would come off of that, and that would be 2 billion more off, which would leave 4 billion people. So from that was 4 billion people were killed from wars and famines and pestilences. And here is the Club of Rome, who had in 1970s divided up the world into 10 kingdoms. Their goal, the people that have created pandemics and wars and famines and food scarcity, here they are talking about reducing the world's population.
We are so far, globally, we are so far above the population and the consumption levels which can be supported by this planet that I know in one way or another it's going to come back down. So I don't hope to avoid that. I hope that it can occur in a civil way. In one way or another, we are so far, globally, we are so far above the population and the consumption levels which can be supported by this planet that I know in one way or another it's going to come back down. So I don't hope to avoid that. I hope that it can occur in a civil way, and I mean civil in a special way. Peaceful. Peace doesn't mean that everybody's happy, but it means that conflict isn't solved through violence, through force, but rather in other ways. And so that's what I hope for.
Pandemics.
That we can, I mean, the planet can support something like 1 billion people, maybe 2 billion, depending on how much liberty and how much material consumption you want to have. If you want more liberty and more consumption, you have to have fewer people. And conversely, you can have more people. I mean, we could even have 8 or 9 billion probably if we have a very strong dictatorship, which is smart. Unfortunately, you never have smart dictatorships. They're always stupid. So, but if you had a smart dictatorship and a low standard of living, you can have it. But we want to have freedom and we want to have a high sentence. So we're going to have 1 billion people. And we're now at 7, so we have to get back down. I hope that this can be slow, relatively slow, and that it can be done in a way which is relatively equal, so that people share the experience, and you don't have a few rich, trying to force everybody else to deal with it. So those are my hopes. I mean, these are pretty pessimistic hopes, but I mean, that's what lies ahead.
Larry Fink says the quiet part out loud. Depopulation.
I could argue in the developed countries, the big winners are countries that have shrinking populations. Okay, that's something that most people never talked about. We always used to think shrinking population is a cause for negative growth. But in my conversations with the leadership of these large developed countries that have xenophobic immigration policies, they don't allow anybody to come in, shrinking demographics, these countries will rapidly develop robotics and AI and technology. And if the promise, I didn't say it's going to happen, but if the promise of all that transforms productivity, which most of us think it will, we'll be able to elevate the standard of living of countries, the standard of living of individuals, even with shrinking populations.
And Trump and Larry Fink are becoming thick as thieves. He was an advisor to Trump. He went with Trump on this Middle East trip during the summer. How BlackRock's Larry Fink, who's now co-chair of World Economic Forum, won over Donald Trump. And can plagues, famine be man-made? Yes, both famines and plagues can be man-made or significantly influenced by human actions. The four riders of the apocalypse: war, famine, pestilences, the Antichrist first, following behind him, war, famine, pestilences, can all be man-made.
They're trying to put us into famine because pandemic, famine, and war, they go together like the triangle of death.
What do you advise people do to get ready for it?
It's not going to be easy, and especially if you live in a major city. People go to cannibalism within 2 weeks. They're going to be coming into your house. When the crickets come out, it's time to do X.
Great advice just for everybody today. I want to dive into some of the stuff you've been talking about.
A smaller population of people is easier to control and easier to get into smart cities. Yes or no, theoretically, could depopulation benefit smart cities? Yes, theoretically, depopulation could offer certain benefits for smart cities, primarily alleviating pressures on resources and infrastructure, which can enhance efficiency and quality of life for the remaining residents, just like what Dennis Meadows said about depopulating the earth, and if you have a smart dictator, that the quality of life would improve for the remaining people. Are smart cities their future goal? Yes, smart cities are widely considered the future goal for urban development, as they use digital technology to improve quality of life, sustainability, and efficiency for residents. And look at this from the clubofrome.org. Published in 1975, Mankind at the Turning Point. This report states the need to create an organic or a truly interdependent society as the only way to save the world from the almost overwhelming world problem. The turning point. The turning point. And what are we hearing everywhere right now? Turning point. According to the Club of Rome, what is the turning point for mankind? According to the Club of Rome, the turning point for mankind is the critical decision to shift from exponential growth to a sustainable organic growth model to avoid ecological collapse and create an organic society. The turning point. Now here we are with Charlie Kirk's The Turning Point Explosion. And they just opened 18,000 new chapters for The Turning Point. The depopulation, the New World Order, the global plan, the turning point. Could population decline be a turning point? Yes, population decline, massive deaths could be a turning point, signaling a shift from a period of growth to one of contraction that will likely require significant societal and economic adaptations. And y'all know Russell Brand, who just is talking about his newfound relationship with Jesus. Look at this. World Economic Forum depopulation monster. Yuval Noah Harari. What do we need humans for? Y'all remember him? Now, do y'all think Yuval Noah Harari and Russell Brand would be friends? When Yuval Noah Harari said, what do we need humans for?
In the book, if I understand it correctly, you argue that actually the amazing breakthrough that we are experiencing right now not only will potentially make our life better, but they will create, and I quote you, new classes and new class struggles, just as the Industrial Revolution did. Can you elaborate for us?
The turning point of society is population reduction. And he's talking about, what do we need so many people for?
Yes, in the Industrial Revolution, we saw the creation of a new class of the urban proletariat. And much of the political and social history of the last 200 years involved what to do with this class and the new problems and opportunities. Now, we see the creation of a new massive class of useless people. As
a master class of useless people.
Computers become better and better in more and more fields, there is a distinct possibility that computers will outperform us in most tasks and will make humans redundant. And then the big political and economic question of the 21st century will be, what do we need humans for? Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games.
Keep them happy with drugs and computer games. So I don't know at what point, Yuval Noah Harari looks a little bit younger here, under the skin, and Yuval Noah Harari's been talking about monitoring things under the skin, like nanobots, the intrabody net of nano things. And listen to this. Russell Brand with him, and he kisses him.
Under the Skin is back, and look who's with me. It's Yuval Noah Harari. Hello.
Hey, good to be here again.
Isn't it wonderful that we've found a way of communicating with each other in the form of podcasts?
I think it is.
And is there some love between us now?
I think so.
I feel love. I look at you, I look at your eyes, I think you're a beautiful person.
Thank you.
It's important, isn't it?
Very.
Not going to say I'm a beautiful person?
You are.
See? He thinks I'm beautiful. He was aching to
I'm
say
not
that.
good in this situation.
Yeah, but your husband looks happy over there.
Yeah, my husband is very good in this situation.
Catch him. That's it. You've got to think on the fly, girl. You've got to be gonzo. Well, me, Yuval Noah Harari, we are going to be talking about love, power, technological disruption. In fact, I've written down the three most important things. Nuclear war, climate change, technological disruption. They weren't written on that bit of paper. I just remembered them using my brain box. I've been learning. Thank you. Now?
I think so.
I feel love. I look at you, I look at your eyes, I think you're a beautiful person.
So how did he end up getting so close to Yuval Noah Harari? And now he's got his podcast talking about Jesus. Is he trying to lead people down the wrong path? So Russell Brand was hanging around a depopulationist. And now here, y'all remember Bill Gates said we had to get the world population down?
Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this.
Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus. A little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to 0. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to 0. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to 0. Now that's back from high school algebra. But
and the Club of Rome wants to reduce the world's population too, right? And look who is a member of the Club of Rome. Bill Gates. His companion is Dennis Meadows, who said, "We hope we can reduce the world's population peacefully." They all have a goal to reduce the world's population, and they wrote a paper called The Turning Point. You think it's coincidental? We are about to see massive death. And once again, the book of Revelation shows us that half of the world's population is going to die off before the mark of the beast becomes the requirement. So we can all clearly see we're setting up for the mark of the beast, but we're not preparing for half of the world dying. And are they going to die from these man-made events, releasing more famine on us? Because half the world is going to die from famine and from pestilences and wars. They are going to shrink the world's population so that the world is more easily controllable. And part of the reason for the mark of the beast is the Antichrist wants to be worshipped. According to Christian eschatology, particularly as interpreted from the biblical books of Daniel, 2 Thessalonians, and Revelation, a central characteristic and demand of the Antichrist is to be worshipped by the entire world. Is the mark of the beast for purchasing and for worship? Yes, the mark of the beast is understood to be both for purchasing and for worshiping the beast. The book of Revelation states that without the mark, no man can buy or sell except for those who receive the mark and are condemned for worshiping the beast and its image. Receiving the mark signifies a person's allegiance to the beast, which is intrinsically tied to both economic control and idolatry. And what's going to happen to those who do not take the mark and do not worship the beast? And I saw thrones, and upon them that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark on his forehead or in their hands. But what's going to happen to those who receive the mark? Sores, a grievous sore is going to come up on their body. In the biblical book of Revelation, painful sores called boils break out on people who have received the mark of the beast and worship the image. But those that refuse to worship the beast are going to be beheaded. According to the book of Revelation, those who refuse to worship the beast that's coming after this massive death, they too are going to be part of the massive deaths. Those who refuse to worship the beast or its image will be beheaded. But we cannot be scared to die for Jesus. The Bible says they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. One time I heard the quote that John Wayne said, that courage is being scared to death and saddling up anyway. Fear is stepping up to the challenge and not being crippled by the fear, but stepping up over it and manning up and doing what is right. And Revelation 21 says that the cowardly are going to be thrown into the lake of fire with the vile and the murderers and the sexually immoral and those that practice magic arts and idolaters and adulterers and all liars. They're all going to be in the lake of fire. And the cowards will have their part with them. Jesus doesn't want a coward. We have to face adversity firmly in the name of Jesus. Unmovable, unshakable. We've got so much going on. We've got ISO 222 kicking in 5 days. We've got Daniel 11 being shown that the Antichrist is going to have no regard for women. We've got this coming out with Donald Trump that he had sexual relations with that man, Bubba. We've got the Antichrist could declare martial law if he feels threatened or pushed into a corner to exert his authority. We've got the wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, famines. We've got the horses riding. The next thing on the agenda is persecution, and then you shall be persecuted, and men shall kill you, and you'll be hated of all men for my name's sake. And before the mark of the beast rolls out, there's going to be persecution, death, massive death from wars, famines, and pestilences. And then the Antichrist is going to roll out requirement for the mark of the beast. And if you don't take it, then you will be added in the group of those that will be part of the massive deaths. We are in the last of the last days. Will you be ashamed of Jesus? Because Jesus said, if you're ashamed of me before men, I will be ashamed of you before my Father. Endure hardship like a good soldier and do not shrink back. We are about to see massive deaths, and the Bible says that men's hearts will fail them for the things they see coming. How will it be for us to start seeing massive amounts of people dropping dead? Thank y'all for watching, and thank y'all for praying for Josh. It's been a horrible, hard week leaning into Jesus. If you appreciate the content that you find on this channel, would you prayerfully consider supporting the ministry?